Hello, YouTube, and welcome to another episode of Breaking Blocks. Today we are going to start on the actual barn of our barn island here. Our farm island, I guess I should say. The barn is going to temporarily house our food animals. Pigs, cows, chickens, if we can get some chickens. And maybe some sheep. But will eventually be turned into a stable for horses. Now, as you can see here, I've already started planting a little bit of a garden, and it's just going to be kind of mostly wheat, some carrots and potatoes spread out, but it's going to follow the trail from the house to the barn, and that will develop over time. So, now, I bet you're wondering what all this hardened clay is here for. Well, this is just markings so that I could find center easy, counted out the exact amount, and I went into a creative world to kind of fiddle around with some ideas. There are some new blocks, some new trees. I believe last time we went over the fact that there is stained glass now, and as I'm looking at this, the actual glass looks horrible compared to stained glass now. It just so happens that the texture pack, or resource pack, that I was using, John Smith, had not been updated. So I opted not to use it and use the vanilla, or not the vanilla, the standard John Smith textures. And they only had regular glass in. They didn't have any of the stained glass. But that is not the only block that is new. These trees over here, unfortunately, because I generated this world, these trees, they didn't retroactively change. All this stuff here is still spruce wood. It's not the dark oak anymore, as you can see from the bottom. Now, spruce did get a texture change, so it does almost look like the dark oak, but I have done little cheatiness. I did actually go until this island, or till this biome started loading again, and find dark oak and bring back some saplings, but I didn't feel like traveling to find the, what's the other kind of sapling? Oh, they're here. The, acacia? I believe it's acacia. Acacia saplings? So I cheated some of those in, and actually I only cheated 4 in, and I've cut down trees to get 12, and got some dark oak here. This is what the acacia wood looks like. This is what the dark oak looks like. Oops. And this is what the spruce looks like. So, spruce, this is the same texture of spruce as it was before, except it has a new top, right? And actually we should grab some birch as well. On that note, birch no longer has the generic, let's just look at all of them, shall we? It used to be that oak, they all had their different horizontal textures, but they all shared oak's top, right? Well, now, birch, which is amazing, because birch looks sexy, has its own top. Spruce has its own top, which is really good. It's more reddish, and it's got this green, sort of almost mossy kind of color texture in there, which is actually, if you don't know, because spruce has a reddish tone to it, the green actually helps it to look even more red, because green is red's complement. And this is the dark oak, so oak and dark oak actually have the same textures, just different color palette, right? Exact same texture. But I do not believe, I think spruce might have the same texture as well. I'm kind of looking at them and they look the same. I know the tops are the same, just different color. But yeah, the dark oak here, it's like chocolate wood. It's awesome. And then we have the, I keep having to look at it, acacia wood, which is awesome. It brings us a gray wood texture for the log part, this part, and it also brings us red planks. Did I get any planks? Here, we'll see the planks. You see those planks right there? That is awesome. Now, it's not completely red, unfortunately. I would have loved if it was, because it would make building this barn a hell of a lot easier. I could make it look like the stereotypical red barn. But it is still cool. It kind of has more of an orangey hue than the standard, generic red like this kind of color. So, that's all the wood that I've gathered of those two types. And I think I got really lucky because I didn't actually get that many blocks. I know that the plumes of leaves on those trees are huge. And actually, you know what? Let's bone meal us some, just so you know. Now, dark wood are these trees over here, right? But these trees are all going to give spruce instead of dark wood. And they're also going to drop spruce saplings because they have a new tree leaf in there. Bone meal, bone meal, bone meal, bone meal. Bone meal, awesome. But you cannot grow, at least I think you can't grow the dark wood not in a 4 pattern. So that's how they grow. And this is the dark oak. Now then these trees, which are just awesome. I love these trees. Oh, I need more bone meal. Like, when I saw that these trees were coming out, I was actually taken aback. I was like, wow, that's brilliant. I mean, I knew they were doing these things, and I knew that they had a kind of new tree that they were looking, or tree format that they were looking at. That's a really bad one, man. We gotta get a good one. Come on. Give me a good one. And I gotta make sure to get all the saplings off the darkwood one, because we're almost running out, and I don't want to have to go run across the whole entire island again. Actually, I think we made it to the edge of another island before I actually generated more in this world. Wait, no, bones were up here, weren't they? Put that seed away. Alright. So this one's kind of puny looking. Let's see if we can get a better one. Oh yeah, there we go. Look at that. See, they grow in odd ways, and that is so cool. And they look nice. I'm loving it. Mojang should adopt the model of McDonald's. I'm loving it. Okay, so that's the news in Minecraft, and it's pretty big news as far as Minecraft goes. You know, adding new blocks is always a pretty big thing, and they only really added 2 base blocks, but because you can craft them into planks and then into stairs, slabs, and you can combine those in building in different ways, it actually adds a lot to your palette as a builder. And we're actually going to get into that a bit in this episode. Now, as I said, all the marking over there with the, what's it called, hardened clay, is in fact specifically for me trying to figure out what I'm going to do in creative. Now, we're not exactly going to carbon copy what I built in creative, but because I built it, I'm basically, you know how some people will build something in creative and then copy it block for block? I'm going to build something in, well, I've already built something in creative. So what I've built in creative, I'm going to come here with it in mind and try and build as close as I can without going back to that. I did kind of build it while I was watching a TV show. I'm going to make sure I get all these. So, you know, some things will be kind of off, but for the most part, I know how it's structured to the point that I should be able to do it quite easily. So we're gonna hop over there just so you can see what I have in my mind. And I built this kind of on the fly. We can actually go ahead and hop over there. Oops, wrong thing. Building. Alright, so this is my, actually, you know what? Time, is it time day or time set day? There we go. This is my builder world. You can see some things over there. You can see a giant thing over there. But this is kind of me messing around, trying to figure out new textures and what they work with, and it's a failed concept. Just ignore it. This doesn't really look like a barn. I mean, it kind of does, but it doesn't really look like your stereotypical barn, I guess I should say. But this is what we're going to go with. Notice that the only thing that is hardened clay is going to be the floor. We're going to have 4, what do you call them, like stalls or... I forget what they're called. They're called something specific. They might be called stalls, but and an upstairs with ladders on either side. And I'm probably just going to have storage up here, maybe hay bale storage. Because if there's a way to store it, like you can store hay in block form, or wheat in block form as hay bales. So I'll probably store a bunch of hay bales in this barn on the top floor. It's got stained glass. And I'm actually debating if I should remove this stained glass because I didn't use it on either of these because these are stairs and half slabs. So you can't put anything in there. But these aren't. And I'm wondering if I should kind of make them that way, but when I made them that way, they looked a little bit too small for the frame of this darker wood here that I made. And it just looked disproportionate. So I think I'll keep it how it is. What else? Now, I could actually, because of how I'm doing this, I could actually make this an exact replica. For the most part, you know, like... for some reason, in this world, it likes to rain like every 5 minutes. But I probably won't have these like little hay blocks all in the same pattern and everything, but structurally, I could make it an exact replica. Or it could be off, you know, it could be off in any manner. But we're going to get to that today. I'm going to go ahead and talk through the groundbreaking and layout, and then I'll probably either time-lapse. I'll do some form of time-lapse, if that's, you know, going up on a hill and taking a picture of it, and then doing more work, and then coming back on the hill and taking a picture of it, and then doing more work, or if I'm just going to speed up some footage of me building it. Either way, there will be a time lapse, and I'll probably change some things from this. Maybe, maybe not, don't know. And what I'm working on over here, this thing, not that thing. That thing's my own private thing. It probably won't ever show up. But that's another barn that I was working on. This giant looking thing, I believe, is going to be our next project for breaking blocks. This is going to be a church. Now, this is a very generic-y looking church. I got this kind of thing coming up here, and I almost made a little cross, so there's like another building going horizontal to it. But it's got these pathways up here. It's not done by any means. And stained glass, you know, all that jazz. The pews and everything. So very generic Christian kind of looking church. With this top. I feel that this, the way this wood is done here at the top, it's simple and there's a lot of negative space, but it feels very churchy. So we might do something like this, or we might go more Asian, make a temple of some sort. I am quite fond of, you know, Japanese kind of temples. Maybe even have a school with like a dojo next to it. Who knows? Or we might even go like a Buddhist temple up on a mountain kind of a thing. Actually, I'm not sure if that's Buddhist. That might be... No, I'm pretty sure that's Buddhist. But we will be introducing religion into our village on Breaking Blocks here pretty soon. Because two things need to happen for a village to be founded and people to come to it. Either there has to be jobs, which will be the thing we deal with after religion, or there has to be religion. Those are the two founding things for towns. Now there are other reasons, you know, like they're building a railroad, or it's a pinnacle trade point. There are several other reasons, but seeing as our little island isn't really that important of a geographical area. You know, it's not a, what do they call it? A bay area. It's not a cape. It's not anything like that. I think religion is probably the smartest thing to go on. Now, it could have been a trade stop, because it is an island. It's a very big island, but it is an island, so it could be related to traders, but we'll go with religion, just because I kind of want to build a church. And we can build multiple different religions. It doesn't have to be just one religion per the town. So I'm going to go ahead and jump over into the other town, or into the actual breaking blocks area. Alright, and we are going to need a whole lot of wood, as you saw, and I might change up the wood textures, but first off, let's actually make sure that we get all these, and I'll grab all this. We might have a few more of these come along eventually, but right now we need all of our hardened clay to fill this in. And I did size it. This should be, it might be 1 or 2 blocks off, but it should still fit up here on this plateau that we have here, that we have marked off. And getting the animals out of that little pit might be a little bit of a headache, but you guys won't have to deal with it. I'll do it all off camera. What else? So plans for the town. Like I said, religion is going to be the next building. And then after that, we will probably do, what did I say we were going to do? I said we were going to do something just like 5 minutes ago, and I can't remember. It was something to do with how you found a city or town. Oh yeah, jobs. Right, that's what we were going to do. So I wanted to explain this preemptively so that I'll probably re-explain it a little bit, but I'll kind of give the Cliff Notes version. Jobs in our area, and actually I think we're on peaceful. I should probably switch it. Yes, we are. Normal. And I will want a way out of here, won't I? Let's give us a way out here, over here. So, jobs. There's going to have to be jobs for our villagers to come in. Now, we already have a farm area, and we haven't inhabited this farm area yet. There are no villagers living here currently. There will be eventually, but right now this is where we live. And as soon as we move out, we will spawn in villagers and deem them the farmers. Probably 2 or 3, kind of get a family of farmers. And they will be subject to death and repopulation and everything like that. Alright, good. These didn't despawn. I didn't think they would, but... I need steel, don't I? Or iron. Let's make a couple shovels, because we need them. So the idea that I have is something that I'm going off of historically. This happened. It probably still happens. And I was actually raised in an area based on it. For those of you, probably all of you, who don't know, I used to live in Pennsylvania, the United States. Pretty central Pennsylvania, and I know that this happens in other places for other reasons, but the reason it was happening there was coal mining. There were entire towns founded on the jobs that were provided by coal mining. So a company would move an entire family to an area, coal company, and they would, how should I put it? They would basically set up so that the entire town was owned by the coal company, everybody's house, owned by the coal company. Everybody in the town probably had at least one, if not more people, working for the coal factory. Whether that was actual down in the mines, mining coal, logistics work, or even just maintaining the city that the coal company now owned. Or the town, it was a town. And it was kind of like a trap, because these people could never earn enough money. They could earn enough money to survive, but they could never earn enough money to really leave. Am I really? Oh no, I don't. I'm probably gonna have to go find more clay here soon, or take down these walls at least. Probably take down the walls. And it's, you know, from a business point, it's a very cunning gambit, but for the people who live there, that's kind of crap. And so it would be like, you know, the guy goes to his job, right? Where he's a miner, coal miner, and he spends all day down in a mine shaft. And keep in mind, he went there before the sun came up in the morning, and when he comes out, the sun has already gone down. So he's been underground the entire day. People playing Minecraft can understand this, right? Understand the concept of losing track of time underground, even though they probably knew exactly what time it was. Oops. There's times in Minecraft where you'll just never see daylight because you'll, you know, come up for one thing, realize it's nighttime, and just go right back down. Drop off your stuff. And my parents knew them better than I did because I was a little bit too young at the time, but they would instantly, you know, go to a bar, which was owned by the same company that was paying their wage, so they would spend money paying the company that just paid them and owned their entire lives, and then they would go to the store, pick up groceries, which the coal company also owned. And the prices were made by the coal company because they bought the food wholesale from somewhere and just brought it in. So it's a trap kind of thing. And I actually had to hold back my Admiral Akbar there. And a lot of towns are actually founded on this premise. And eventually, the hope is that you don't end up in one of these traps by the end of it. You know, the town is founded this way because it can eventually grow out of it. If enough people move in, other businesses will move in, and not everything's controlled by one company. So the money loops out, and eventually the workers will land on their own feet, so to speak. They're not dependent on this company. All right, so I gotta mark out with wood. I'm trying to think of which wood I should use. I guess we can go ahead and use the dark. Let's use spruce. Let's get more of a color to it. So there's a difference, right, between oh crap, I forget how I did this. I think it's this. Yeah, I think that's it. Now I forget what I was saying. But there's a trap with how they do that, and whether it's on purpose or not, it's a bad thing. And I remember some families, they weren't necessarily ignorant to it, but they didn't really care because it's the only life that they knew, kind of a thing. You know? Because their parents you know, after a generation or two, it just becomes the norm. Their parents were coal miners, they're coal miners. Or if you're the, like, you know, if you're the wife, you're the coal miner's wife. I don't know how else to put it. These weren't spaced by 3, were they? Maybe there were, no, because that's 3, and that's 3. Hold on. 1, 2, 3. Let's put that there. And let's see if this works better. 2, 3. Oh, come on. And these 2 need to come down. Was it counting from the inside or not? I don't know, I guess, yeah, okay. So, the next thing I'm going to introduce is going to be a coal mining plant, which is actually going to be over there where that big thing is. That's going to be the processing plant for the coal mine. And the strip mines we have down there are actually going to turn into coal mines. Alright? Now, I know that it's a kind of ugly premise to base your town off of, but historically, it is how a lot of towns are formed, and some successful towns, I think, what is it, I'm gonna get it wrong, but I think Pittsburgh, Kansas is a coal mining town. I could be wrong about that. But I'm pretty sure it's Pittsburgh. I don't know, somebody will eventually correct me, I'm sure, if I'm wrong. But the town is, it's actually still a really small town, but not everybody who lives there is at the mercy of the corporation or company that founded it anymore. And that could be for it's just been there for so long that it just slowly slipped out of the corporation's control. Or it could be, you know, other businesses. It got big enough that other businesses moved in. And what I'm going for is our town is going to expand fast enough that other businesses are going to move in. It's not all going to be the coal corporation. Now I have to remember how I did the front. Because I know that there's a lot of wood, and I know that I used this dark wood. I'm pretty sure it's 1, 2, 3 on each side, right? And this is kind of my process. I'm leaving this in because this is my process for working, and I did say that we were going to leave it in. Oh, wait, no. Because I had a border along the bottom, didn't I? Yes, I did. Of spruce, I believe. And actually, I love the fact that spruce now looks like spruce, in my mind, used to be what the darker oak looks like now. Oh, I didn't move it there. Because as soon as you put this next to it, that almost looks like the regular oak in comparison, but it's not, which is awesome in my mind. I think I did the border like this, didn't I? Maybe I didn't do it at the front. I cannot remember for the life of me. Oh, that's off. Because there shouldn't just be 2 there, should there? Maybe I should have worked out the floor better. Let's go ahead and put this border around, I suppose.